Hey everybody, how you doing? It is a cold, nasty, rainy fall day here today, and I am sitting in my truck talking to you because I have a flat tire and I am waiting for roadside assistance to come help me out. So I figured while I was waiting, which who knows how long that's going to be, I'd talk to you about a subject that I think is very misunderstood sometimes in the real estate world, especially with new investors, and that is hard money lending. So I wanted to go over my top 10 reasons of why using a hard money lender is a good thing, and how it can help you in your real estate career, and how it can help you grow your portfolio much quicker than if you just relied on institutional lending. Let's face it, most people who get into real estate are not getting into it because they're already rich and they have, millions of dollars laying around. They're usually cash strapped to some degree. Not all the time, but sometimes they are. And they don't always have 20, 30% to put down on every deal that they're buying. So hard money lenders do serve a real purpose when it comes to private investment. But my top 10 reasons are, here we go. My number one reason is the speed in which you can get a deal done. I have had many instances over the years where I have actually secured a contract because I was able to settle the deal in 7 days or 8 days or 10 days, as opposed to having a 30 or 45 or even 60-day contract. Once you have established a relationship with a hard money lender, a lot of times it's as easy as making a phone call and saying, hey, can you do this deal for me? And they'll usually let you know within 24 hours. And if they can do the deal for you, then you're able to go ahead and get that deal funded probably within 7 days, in most cases. Could take a little bit longer, but it wouldn't be because the lender wasn't ready. It might be because you're waiting for a lien sheet or waiting for some other documents to come in from title or whatever the case is, but your lender will be ready to go in 7 days. So my second reason is the ease of underwriting, and I kind of alluded to that in number one. But when you're dealing with a hard money lender, you're not going through the firing line like you do through an institutional lender. Like, you go to an institutional lender and they want to look at everything, including your underwear. They want to see your bank statements and your tax returns and your 401ks and anything else that you could provide them. So if for some reason the loan went bad, they would know every nook and cranny to look to see what assets you have. With the hard money lender, it's not that bad. I mean, they do their due diligence, but generally they could usually get you an answer within about 24 to 48 hours. So the other thing that I like, number three on the list, would be when you're dealing with a hard money lender, they usually have a lot of real estate investment experience. Most of the time, they're also real estate investors or have been real estate investors, and they understand the game. They understand what you're trying to accomplish. They understand the ins and the outs. They also understand the trials and tribulations that you're facing. So bankers, in my view, are bad businessmen. They don't understand real estate investment. They never have understood real estate investment. And many times they shoot themselves in the foot because they're trying to follow their guidelines as opposed to making a deal that makes sense. Hard money lenders don't do that. If the deal makes sense, generally you're going to get that deal. So find a good deal, bring it to a hard money lender, and more often than not, you're going to get the funds. The other thing that I like is, which is number four on my list, is they usually are asset-based lenders. So they're not so caught up on your tax returns, your credit scores, things of that nature. They want to look at the house itself or the property itself, and they want to see if that property is worth what you're saying it's worth. And if they can see it in a worst case scenario, if everything went bad and you ended up going under, will they get their money out of the house? And if the answer to that is yes, then generally they're willing to make the deal. Now, not every hard money lender is like that. All hard money lenders are different. I just want to put that out there. But I'm talking in generalities. And in my experience, that's what I have found it to be. So number five on the list is, and what I love, is less red tape. I mean, who doesn't love less red tape? I can't stand it when you had, like I said before, you go to the bank and they want every piece of documentation you've ever had since you were 9 years old. I hate that. It slows you down. It slows your progress down. It slows your growth down. It slows your expansion down. And once you get a property under contract and get it settled and you do it through a hard money lender and now you're trying to refinance it, the parameters are much easier and your options are much, much easier. Hopefully, by buying it through a hard money lender, that you've then added value to the property, and now you could take that property that you've added value to another lender, an institutional lender, or do a DSCR loan, and that will get the hard money lender paid out, and you're able to buy the property without having to put down the traditional 20 or 30%. There's other things too that really bother me with institutional lenders. And number 6 on my list is appraisals. I can't stand appraisals. I can't stand appraisers. I think that it is such a subjective business. It's not even funny. I've had such wildly different appraisals on the same property by different appraisers. It's not even funny. I give you a case. I've had one property that was right across the street from the other property. They were both renovated by me at the same time. Both 3 bedrooms, both 2 bedrooms, both with a finished basement, same size, square footage, etc. One of them came back $50,000 less in appraisal than the other one. One was with one bank and one was another bank. I had them appraised within a week of each other. I can't stand dealing with appraisals. Not to mention that it's going to cost you hundreds and hundreds of dollars to pay for that appraisal. So a lot of times, not all the time, but a lot of times, and hard money lenders either A, won't do an appraisal, or they'll do their own appraisal. And sometimes they'll charge you for that, but it's usually much less than what an institutional lender will charge you for it. Number 7 on the list, and this is a big, big factor, especially if you plan on expanding your portfolio at a rapid pace, and that is 99% of any loan that I've ever gotten through a hard money lender. You know what? Scratch that. 100% of any loan I've ever gotten through a hard money lender has never showed up on my credit report. And that is huge because I have literally had tens of millions of dollars out on the street with hard money lenders, and not a single one of those loans showed up on my credit report. So if you're getting loans, like if you go through an institutional lender and they report to the credit bureaus, now that starts dragging on your debt to income ratio, and it makes future borrowing much more difficult. So from that standpoint, the hard money lenders are great to work with because nobody really knows it's there. And I'm not saying that you shouldn't disclose that, because obviously if you're asked to disclose if you have loans or if you have other debt, if you're applying for another loan and they're asking you that, you want to disclose that. But in many instances, not showing up on your credit report has a lot of advantages. So number 8 on my list is the hard money lenders are usually a relationship-based lender. So what that means for you is once you establish that relationship, the ease of getting your next loan and then your next loan and then your next loan is much better. They're used to how you work, you're used to how they work, and as long as you performed on your first or second or third deal, getting your 4th or 5th or 6th deal is much easier than getting your first deal. So it might take a little bit of work on your first deal, and they might scrutinize you a little bit more. But honestly, I will tell you, I found that most hard money lenders are lazy. And once they feel that their money is protected after the 4th or 5th deal, their scrutiny drops dramatically. And not saying that you should bring them anything that's not a worthy deal, but it just makes getting the deal to the table much easier. And number 10, and the one that I like the most, is using hard money lenders allow you to scale at a much quicker pace. When I first started out, I only used hard money lenders because I couldn't go to an institutional lender to get financing, or really didn't know how to go to an institutional lender to get financing. I was as green can be. But I ended up with about 75 properties in the first 6 months I was in business using hard money lenders. And it was, a good thing and not such a good thing, because we acquired a lot of assets, but managing those assets was pretty tough. So I don't know if I would suggest doing that on that level, But if you wanted to scale up and do 10 houses in your first year, certainly that's very achievable with hard money lenders. And something that, as I said, a hard money lender will provide for you. And, there are certain things that a hard money lender will enable you to do that you are not going to be able to do with an institutional lender. So I hope this top 10 list helps you. And then stay tuned for our next video, or give us a like and subscribe, because our next video is going to be the top 10 reasons not to use a hard money lender. Peace out.